Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you are new here, hello, my name is Victoria. I'm so glad to have you. I am currently just under 5 weeks pregnant with my first baby. So I am super grateful and excited to be making these kinds of videos for you guys. I loved watching these kinds of videos when I was in my 2-week wait. Basically, the 2-week wait is the 2-week time period in between when you ovulate and when you can get your BFP, which is a big fat positive pregnancy test. So if you guys have any questions, I'll try to explain everything as I go. I learned all of this myself through like Facebook groups that I joined, and I feel like I learned so much during our TTC journey. Even though it was pretty short, I feel like I learned a lot about my body and just about like conception in general. I thought it was really interesting. So with that being said, I want to give a little like disclaimer at the beginning of this video. This is probably, and all of my future pregnancy videos are probably going to be TMI. So if you're like a guy or like, you know, a family member that's a guy or something like that, or you have no interest in pregnancy at all, then I would say don't watch these videos, because I'm probably going to be talking about things that you might find like gross, not gross, but like, you know, just like TMI. So if you aren't interested in what I'm about to tell you, then don't watch. So when we were trying for our baby, I was obsessed with watching these videos of like how I knew I was pregnant before I got my BFP, or like 2-week wait symptoms, things like that. So this is going to be like a how I knew I was pregnant video, also with like symptoms from like 0 to 4 weeks. So I have things written down. I am going to be making future like not weekly updates on my pregnancy, but maybe I'll do like 4-week increments, because already from week 4 to week 5 I've experienced quite a few new symptoms. So I definitely want to make more videos, because since my 4th week started, I have been having some different symptoms than the ones that I had before my 4th week started. So I'm definitely going to be making more of these, but I loved watching these, so I hope that some of you will find this interesting, or if you're trying for a baby, I hope that you get pregnant soon, and I just pray that I have a healthy pregnancy and that everything goes well. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the video. So like I said, I was learning so much about like the 2-week wait and things that women would experience during the 2-week wait. So I felt like I was really in tune with my body. And I was noticing things that I never would have noticed before. So I feel like I was really like paying attention to signs and symptoms. Now, the previous month that we were trying, I was symptom spotting really bad. I was looking for any little sign to like think that I was pregnant, and I was convinced that I was, and I wasn't. So I tried not to do that this month. What in the world? How did you even get in here? Okay, I'm just gonna leave him in here. He opened the door with his nose. So I have a little buddy. He has been right by my side, and that is one of the symptoms. I don't know if you call that a symptom. That was one sign that I had a feeling that I was pregnant, was because of how my dogs have been acting, especially Marvin. So anyways, we'll get to that in a second. But I would say like maybe it was like right when I was supposed to be ovulating. Now, I never used like OPKs, they're called ovulation prediction kits. So I never actually tested for ovulation. I just went off of my apps that I used, which I used Period Tracker, Ovia, and Glow. Glow I don't really care for. Ovia was probably my favorite, but Period Tracker, I had tracked my periods for like years. So I had so much information on there. So I felt like it was pretty accurate of when I was going to be ovulating. So I just kind of went based off of that. And then it tells you like the days that you're most fertile. So that's kind of what I went by. But I really feel like I felt when I ovulated, which is not something that I've ever noticed before, but it was from my right side. So I feel like this month I ovulated from my right side. I don't know if you like only sometimes ovulate from one side. I don't really know how that works, but I really feel like I was feeling ovulation cramps on my right side. And so I didn't really feel like I felt that before, So I don't know, I just really felt like I knew when I ovulated, which gave us a better chance at like knowing when I really did ovulate. And so that's like when you're the most fertile. So, or not when you're most fertile, but like when you have the highest chance of conception. So I also, like, little random fact, we were moving during the week of my like fertile week. So I really didn't think that this month was like it for us. But like we still tried, but I was just like, you know, we'll give it our best shot. Sorry, I keep touching my hair. I want my ponytail to be over here so you guys see that I have hair. But anyway, sorry, I won't touch it again. So I really didn't think we had like a great shot this month because we were so busy and I was just like really stressed and stuff like that because we were moving into this house. But I guess that's what did it. I don't know if I just like wasn't, you know, paying attention and like really thinking about it too much. But anyway, so the first thing was that I felt when I ovulated. So I really felt like I knew like when we had the highest chance of conceiving. So I feel like that helped. So after that, it was about, and I'm going based off of my app. I don't know the exact date that I did ovulate. So when I say DPO, I'm talking about days past ovulation. And when I say like how many DPO, it was just based off of what my apps told me, and they all told me the same day that I was gonna ovulate. So I feel like it was pretty accurate. But like I said, it could be a little bit off. So around like 5 or 6 DPO, I started to get really sore boobs. And I, to this day, have like the most sore boobs that I've ever had. Like, just like even like scratching them, like it just like hurts. Totally hurts. I know that's like TMI, but they hurt so bad. And so, and they just feel like they just feel really heavy, I guess. Which I normally get that, not this bad though. I normally get that like maybe if like right when my period starts or like a couple days before, maybe. Usually it's like right after it starts. So that was around 5 or 6 days past ovulation. I don't exactly remember, but I do remember it was like right before 1 week past ovulation. So I thought that was weird. I was like, In the previous month, I did not get sore boobs at all until my period had started. So I was like, like that's kind of weird. So that was the first thing. Another thing that I noticed, maybe right after that, so maybe I would say 7 or 8 DPO, I started to get acne, and not just on my face, but like on my body. I remember being in the shower and I felt this like pimple on my back, and I don't like hardly ever get body acne except maybe like sometimes on my chest, maybe like one here and there. But I have been having it a little bit like on my shoulders, and then I had one like painful one more like on my back. So I remember being in the shower and I was like I felt like that was weird. And also on my face too, which I always get acne like right before my period starts, so that wasn't like a huge sign for me on my face, but my body acne, that was a sign for me. So that was another thing in my 2-week wait that I noticed, and I thought I may be pregnant. The next thing was our dogs were literally sleeping like right on top of me, which if you guys know us, our dogs are huge. And well, Marvin isn't, I mean, he's big, but he's not as big as Sherman. So they have been sleeping like right on top of us, which they do sleep with us normally, but like usually they'll sleep on the floor for some of the night. And then like sometimes they'll come up on the bed. A lot of the time Sherman likes to sleep on Devin's side of the bed. So I thought it was really strange. And at the time I kind of was just like annoyed because I wasn't getting any sleep because the dogs were literally sleeping right on top of me. Like Sherman would like wedge himself between us like and put his head on the pillow, and then Marvin would like be right on my head on my pillow, or like right next to me or right on my legs. And so I wasn't getting any sleep, and so I thought that that was really weird. And I thought at the time, like right in that moment, I was like, maybe it's because we just moved and they're like nervous, you know. Also, our bed, our mattress has been on the floor because our bedroom furniture does not come until Saturday. Today is Thursday, August 20th when I'm filming this. So our bedroom furniture doesn't come until Saturday. So we've lived here, what, like 3 weeks, and we still don't have bedroom furniture because everything's pushed out due to COVID. So I thought that might be another reason, but now looking back, I think it was because they were just like super attached to me, because I think that they knew I was pregnant before I even did. So yeah, but they have been right by my side, especially Marvin. And I will say, when we got Marvin, I knew he was gonna be the one to like be really intuitive with me and my feelings and like my body and stuff. Like if I ever got pregnant, I knew he was gonna notice, because he is super like, he just knows like when I'm upset or if I'm crying. Like he really pays attention and cares. Sherman like really doesn't, not that he doesn't care, but he doesn't really care if I'm sad or anything. And he doesn't really seem in tune with me like Marvin does. So that's another thing that I noticed. The next thing that I noticed was I started to get car sick. So I am not a person that gets car sick. I sit in the back seat all the time, like if I'm riding with a bunch of people, and it never really bothers me. But we went to dinner with my grandparents and my mom, and I rode in the back seat in the middle. And on the way back, I was like super car sick. Like, oh, stop. Marvin just moved the camera with his nose. I was super car sick and I really thought I was gonna throw up. Like I was like, oh my gosh, which was really weird for me. I think that this was a symptom of mine. Another time, excuse me, don't be like your brother. Another time, it was just a few days later, we went to my parents' house and we had dinner at their house, and then we went and got ice cream. And so it was my parents, my sister, and my parents, my sister, and then Devin and I. So I sat in the back again in the middle. And on the way back, I was like, can I sit in the front because I am feeling car sick? And Devin made the comment, he was like, pregnant lady needs to sit in the front. And I at the time didn't know that I was pregnant, and I was like, hush, hush. And I think that that was around like 11 DPO, I think. Another thing was around 10 DPO, 10 or 11 DPO, I got a cold, which I'm like still recovering from. Now I know COVID's going around, but not everything is COVID, okay? I didn't have like all those symptoms and everything, but Devin had got a cold. This is why I'm not so sure if this was a symptom or not, but I'll tell you why I think it was. Devin, like the week after we moved here, he got like a pretty bad cold for like 2 days. And a few days later, it was around like 10 or 11 DPO for me, I started to have the same cold. But I have a pretty strong immune system, and like even if like Devin gets sick, a lot of times I won't get sick. I don't get sick that often, and I looked up that your immune system is lower, especially in the beginning of pregnancy. And also I've heard a lot of women say that they have had like cold and flu like symptoms like at the very early stages of their pregnancy as well. So I was just like kind of congested, and like that was really it. Like I'm still kind of getting over it. I feel like I have like phlegm in my throat, but it wasn't like anything really major. But I do feel like that was because I was pregnant. There's like 2 more things I want to talk about. One is that I was extremely irritable. Now I kind of thought that that was just because we were like moving into our house. We were under a lot of stress, just like unpacking and like, you know, getting everything settled. Another thing was that I was like gonna be close to when I would start my period, so I thought maybe that was it. But I was like over the top irritable, especially with Devin. Like I was getting so annoyed with him so easily, which I feel like I normally have patience with people, and with Devin, and I just like felt like I was so irritable. And so I remember thinking to myself, like, I am being so mean, like I feel like I'm pregnant. So that was like the second to last symptom that I had. The last thing was on 12 DPO, which is the day that I got my BFP, my big fat positive. On 12 DPO, I started having light cramping. And so I was really sad at first because I was like, oh man, like I'm gonna start my period. But that was not the case. Or actually around 10 DPO, I took a Walmart like 88-cent cheapie test, and it was a super faint positive. Super faint. I'll actually go ahead and post a picture of it just so you guys can see like what it looked like, and you might not even be able to see it in the picture, but I definitely saw it when I took the test. And I thought originally it was an evap line, because if you don't know what that is, some pregnancy tests can give you evaporation lines, and they look like gray instead of like with color. But I swear in person I saw color on it. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna wait a couple days to take another test. The next day on 11 DPO, I actually took a clear blue test with like the cross, and I'll post a picture of that one as well. And as you can see in this picture, it does look positive, but the dye looks like it was like running at the top. So again, I thought like maybe this isn't like, you know, like really true. So then on 12 DPO, as you guys saw in the video that I posted, Devin went to shoot with his friend, and I was like, I didn't have any tests left, and it was the evening, so I thought like, I definitely didn't think I was gonna get a positive then because it was nighttime. But I was like, I'm just gonna run to Target, I'm not gonna tell him, and I'm gonna go get a box of pregnancy tests just to take one, just for fun. And I ended up taking it, and you guys, as soon as I dipped it in the pee, like it started to turn positive. And that's why I took all 3 in the box, because I thought it was like faulty, which I know like isn't a thing, but I mean, I don't know if it is or not, but I really thought it was faulty because I didn't look at it before I dipped it in the cup. And I thought like, was there a line there already? And I'm just not seeing it, but the positive was like so dark, like so dark. So then I took the rest of the box, they were all blazing positive, and then I took a digital and it was of course positive. And then I took another digital the next morning just to make sure, and it was positive again. And then I really feel like it set in when like my period was supposed to come and then it didn't, because I'm so regular with my period, and it never came. So I am definitely pregnant. So those are basically all of the symptoms that I had from 0 to 4 weeks right before I got my BFP. I did find out that I was pregnant on 3 weeks and 5 days according to my app, which I do track all of my periods, so I do feel like that's probably pretty accurate. But yeah, so I was just under 4 weeks, and those are all the main symptoms that I had during those first 4 weeks of pregnancy, even though technically I was only pregnant for like 1 week or whatever. But yeah, so I do plan on making more of these videos in the future to kind of just like tell you guys all the symptoms that I'm having, and just to look back on and document like how I was feeling during all this time in pregnancy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more pregnancy videos. If there's anything specifically you want to see, let me know. I am totally down to film any type of pregnancy video and share anything with you guys. I am just so over the moon to be carrying a baby and to have a baby in my belly. And I just want to share like everything I want to help as many people as I can, and to just like look back and see how I was feeling and things like that. So I hope you guys like this video. Get ready for lots more pregnancy content. Yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.